Today we're going over area of circles and semicircles. So our objective is to be able to find the area of those two shapes. And then the language objective is to be able to orally explain how to find the area. So a circle is a shape, I should say A. A circle is a shape consisting of all points in a plane that are the same distance from a given point called the center. So I'm going to draw myself a circle. This is by no means a perfect circle, but so you get the idea. A circle looks something like that. Okay, so you have the center I put as the green dot. So all of the points around that center are the same distance from the center. So all the points on the green circle there are the same point distance from the center of the circle. The next vocabulary is a radius. So a radius is a distance from the center of a circle to a point on the circle. We denote the radius with the letter R. So denoted or represented it's by the letter R. So I'm going to show you a radius on the circle that I drew there. So from the center to the to a point on the circle, this is the radius. So I'm going to call this an R. I want to call this R. The diameter is, so that's radius. This is a point from the center to the edge. A diameter is the distance across the circle, and it passes through the center of the circle. So that's an important piece of the diameter. It must pass through, it must pass through the center of the circle, and it must go from one point on the circle to another point across from it. So the way we represent diameters with the letter D. So represented by the letter D. So if I choose this point on my circle, a diameter has to go all the way through to the other end. So this is what we call the diameter, and I'm labeling it D. This last piece, the value of pi, if you type it into your calculator, the value of pi is 3.14. That's how we're going to estimate pi. If your calculator has the pi button, then you can definitely use the pi button. If not, you can use 3.14. So let me give you a little explanation. I did put this figure here. So a diameter goes all the way across the circle. A radius only goes halfway across a circle. So we have a couple formulas that we can use here. Next to radius, let's go ahead and write the radius. So we'll say R is half of the diameter. So the radius is 1/2 of the diameter, because the diameter goes all the way through from one point on the circle to the other, and the radius only goes halfway because it starts at the center. So let me go ahead and highlight. That was an important formula. So let's highlight the radius is 1/2 the diameter. Then the diameter, so if we know the radius, we could find the diameter. Sometimes we're going to know the diameter and we want to find the radius. So if I know the diameter, we could use the first formula that I highlighted there to find the radius if we know the diameter. If we know the radius and we want to find the diameter is 2 times the radius. So these are the two formulas that we could use. So the one I highlighted in yellow and the one I highlighted there in green. So those will let you find the diameter or the radius, depending on what you're given. So it really depends on the problem. So let's look at an example. But before we do that, let's go ahead and give you guys the area of a circle. The area formula for a circle is area equals pi times the radius, and always use parentheses when you're plugging in the radius, squared. But we have, we can write this in short A notation. Remember, anytime we're talking about area, we can always use the letter A equals our pi. So we're going to put pi. And then remember, we can shorten radius. What did we use on the last slide? We used r to represent radius right here. So we're going to put that over here. So we're going to say pi times r squared. This is how you find the area of any circle. It is pi r squared. So here's an example. Find the area in example 1. It says find the area, answer in terms of pi. So they want you to leave pi in your answer. So I know this is a circle, and this little line right here, it doesn't go all the way across a circle. So which of those two didn't go all the way across? Which one went from the center to the edge? So if you recall, that was the radius. So we have the radius. So this is the radius. So area equals pi times the radius squared. So in this case, my r was 8. So area equals pi times 8 squared. And they wanted us to leave the answer in terms of pi. So it said answer in terms of pi. So we're going to leave pi. We're not going to plug it into the calculator. So our answer here then is area equals 8 squared is 64. So this is 64 pi, and then remember, it's area, so you need units. So this is 64 pi inches squared. So that's the area of that circle. Okay, example 2. So again, find the area, round your answer to the nearest tenth. So start with the area formula. Area equals pi times r squared. Now, this time I'm given a length that goes all the way across. So that means I have a diameter since it goes all the way across. But I don't want the diameter, I need the radius. So how do we find the radius? So if you flip back and go back, remember the radius is half the diameter. It's the one that I had in yellow. So I wanted to find the r, so r is 1/2 the diameter. Oops. So 1/2 of 20 is my radius. So let me erase this part right here. So my r is 1/2 of the diameter, so the radius is 1/2 of 10. Sorry, 1/2 of 20, which is 10. So my radius is 10 inches. Now I can find the area. So now it's area equals pi times r squared. Again, area equals pi. We know what r is. It's 10 squared. Now here's where you can plug it into your calculator because they want your answers to the nearest tenth. So if I plug this into the calculator, or you can remember you can type in, instead of pi, you can type 3.14. So if you don't have the pi button, type 3.14 times 10 squared. So this would be pi times 100, which would get you 314. So the area is 314 and this is inches squared. So sometimes you will know the diameter, but not the radius. If that's the case, then you need to do exactly what I did here. So if you know the radius, then you're good. You don't need to do anything. You have the radius. But if you need the radius, if you have the diameter and you need the radius, then you're going to have to take half of the diameter to get the radius. Next example says the area of a circle is 100 inches squared. Find the radius and diameter. So to find the radius of this circle, let's go ahead and put our area formula. So I know it's a circle, so I have a circle there for you already. And let's see, I know the area is 100 inches squared. So I'm going to write my area formula. So area equals pi r squared. I know the area is 100. So I'm going to set that equal to pi r squared. Now pi is a number. Remember, it's 3.14. So I can put that in. I'm going to write it so that we see it. Area 100 equals 3.14 r squared. So first I'm going to get rid of the 3.14. I'm going to divide everything by 3.14. So divide by 3.14. So that those 3.14s cancel. And then I'm going to do 100 divided by 3.14. And I'm going to get 31.8 equals r squared. Now this one's a little tricky. When you have a power of 2, the way that you get rid of the power of 2 is to take the square root. So you're going to square root both sides. So if you click in your calculator, if you do hit square root of 3.18, should give you an answer. So the square root of 3.18 is 5.6. And we'll round this to the nearest tenth. So 5.6 inches is the r. And they asked us also to find diameter. So this is the radius. Now we need to find the diameter. So remember the diameter, that formula, let's go back, is 2 times the radius. Whoops. So the diameter is 2 times the radius. So I'm just going to put that formula right here, 2 times the radius. So D equals 2R. So the diameter is 2 times 5.6. So that gets you, the diameter is 11.2 inches. So that's the diameter of the circle. And then the radius is 5.6. So that one was a little bit more involved than the first few. Okay, so that does it for day 1 of circles. So this is the notes that we did in our live session together. I will be posting a video of day 2 so that you can watch that one.